We begin the narrative in 1901, in South Africa, during the Anglo-Boer War. A wounded general finds refuge with two women, a mother and her daughter. As the man rests, the young Annie becomes progressively weaker. Her mother, Anna, notices the situation worsening and states that everything is almost ready for her daughter's recovery. Annie expresses that she no longer wants to go through this process, as she is exhausted, but her mother responds that it will be like previous occasions. The young girl protests, claiming that she doesn't want to live this forever, but her mother pulls her hair, demanding in an aggressive tone that she continues. Then she states that she will make coffee for the man, as he needs to be well. The man begins to have nightmares related to the war, and Anna observes his dreams through a supernatural power. During these visions, memories of her ex-husband come to the surface. When she tries to pronounce his name, the candles extinguish, and her expression turns to despair. However, her desire prevails, and she approaches the man. But when she tries to engage with him, he starts talking to himself, causing her to back away. Before she steps back, she notices a strange smell and realizes that he has a fever. Anna warns her daughter that everything needs to be done that night and begins to prepare. Anna frees her daughter from her bonds and starts to remove the old clothes to dress her in new ones. Sensing someone approaching, she quickly warns Annie, asking her not to get too close to the light so that the man won't realize she is not as young as she appears. She also requests that Annie not look at him until she is introduced. The man knocks on the door, but Anna hesitates to open it. When she finally opens the door, she apologizes and mentions that she thought he could be a threat. Brand, the assistant to the general, states that he came to discuss important matters. Anna explains that this is not possible due to the man's condition. Without wasting time, she approaches and tries to remove his clothes, but he refuses and asks her to step back. Anna insists, offering coffee, but Brand says he doesn't want anything from her, and she asks if she can at least introduce her daughter, requesting that Annie be polite. Brand, enchanted by the young girl, is left speechless. Anna talks about her daughter's fragile health and asks the man to come closer for coffee. Brand agrees to approach and accepts the drink, but Anna attempts to remove his wet shoes. The man refuses once again, becoming irritated, pushing her away and stating that he doesn't care about the wet shoes, as some soldiers will never wear them again. Anna chooses not to comment and steps back. Noticing Annie's silence, Brand apologizes for his behavior and mentions that he usually doesn't act this way, but war can affect a man's mind. He also shares that he hasn't been sleeping well and often walks at night to avoid being captured. Annie mentions that she and her mother also walk at night, and Brand deduces that they do so to avoid capture, although Annie's expression does not suggest this. Outside, Anna is seen dragging a body in the rain. Annie asks if the man dreams when he sleeps, and Brand considers the question strange, but responds that sometimes he does. Excited, Annie asks what Brand dreams about, and he replies that he dreams of food and a soft bed to rest. Annie states that she would only know what she would dream of if she could, and intrigued, he questions if she can't dream. She explains that she cannot because her mother does not allow it, believing that when she falls asleep, she will fall into an eternal abyss and never wake up. This conversation leaves Brand increasingly perplexed. Back to Anna, she is seen dragging a body to throw into a hole where several other corpses lie. Annie shares that her desire is to sit in a large open field and observe the clear sky with her mother. Brand asks why they can only travel at night, and Annie reveals that they cannot stand the light of day because it hurts them. This makes the man even more thoughtful, but his thoughts are interrupted when Annie enters. She hands him a pair of boots, and upon seeing this, Brand is frightened, as she must have taken them from a corpse. She explains that she got them from an enemy soldier and asks him to wear them, but he refuses to wear the enemy's belongings. Irritated, he steps back, deep in thought, but she approaches and says that everything she does is for her daughter. Angry, she shouts if he doesn't see that her daughter is sick, and Brand asks her to be quiet. At that moment, the general wakes up and Brand approaches him, saying that he came to report things. Anna moves closer and asks him not to listen to the general, who has a fever and is delirious. Brand realizes that his superior is indeed speaking nonsense, and Anna requests that he let him rest. She notices that her daughter is almost asleep and approaches to wake her up, asking her not to sleep, deciding to tie her up again while the general begs to die. He questions where he is and who those women are. Brand responds that he is in her farm in the stable, as his house has been burned down. Hearing this and seeing several spirits around him, the general panics. The woman offers him tea to calm him, while Annie repeats that she cannot sleep. Brand tries to cheer him up, but the man shows no interest in living and ultimately falls asleep. Brand, with tears in his eyes, says he sees no improvement in him and holds Anna accountable. Irritated, she replies that she is doing everything she can, but she cannot perform miracles. Upon hearing this, Brand states that if his general dies, he will kill her. And irritated with Annie, who keeps repeating the same words, he asks what is wrong with her. Anna explains that her daughter cannot fall asleep, for if she does, no one will be able to wake her. Brand says he can't do anything about it, but the woman comments that he can tell a story. She approaches her daughter and says that the man is going to tell her a tale, placing a chair beside hers and asking him to come closer, as the closer he is, the better. Brand sits in the chair, and Anna mentions she will rest a little while they talk. The man confesses that he doesn't know what to talk about, as he has only lived tragedies, and Annie interrupts him by asking him to tell about the light. She mentions that her mother doesn't tell her, as the less she knows, the less she will worry. Brand mentions the wonders of light and shows her a mirror used to signal men. Annie delights in seeing her reflection, but Brand is startled to see the face of another person. Brand tries to ignore it, but Anna reappears floating behind him, thanking him for entertaining her daughter. Nervous, he realizes that they are not ordinary and tries to leave. Anna says she hears a noise, and Brand seizes the chance to try to escape and says he will check it out. Anna asserts she will go with him, as she can see in the dark. Annie, fearful, claims she doesn't want to be left alone, and Brand reassures her, guaranteeing that nothing will happen to her. Brand sees his injured horse and decides to kill it to end its suffering. Annie follows after them but faints when she hears the gunshot. Anna, upon returning, finds her daughter fallen and asks Brand to take care of her. He hesitates, but Annie insists that she needs to fetch herbs and suggests that he stay close to the girl to keep her warm. Brand does not hide his fear, but approaches and sits beside Annie, staying silent. Annie expresses her fear, saying that she feared something would happen to him outside. Annie comments that she feels good next to Brand, something she has never felt even with her mother, questioning her own reality. She faints again, and Brand wakes her up with honey. Upon waking, Annie states that she already knew him, and Brand shares that he also feels a connection, even though he had never seen her before. She explains that she has been traveling in a cart since she was little, and talks about following tracks left by the shadows of birds. She mentions a dark tree that seemed to be trying to tell her something. Upon touching his face, she appears to suck part of his life, but does not do it completely. Brand, filled with happiness, comments that he has never met anyone with such a beautiful face and such cold hands. Annie asks why he is afraid, and with his heart racing, he doesn't respond and gets closer, smelling her, while Anna watches through a hole. Just as he is about to act, Anna enters, complaining about the birds, making Brand step back cautiously. Anna notices that her daughter feels better, thanks Brand, and asks her daughter to do the same. Annie thanks him, but to protect him, reveals her true form, showing her goat feet. Brand is terrified to see this. In shock, he apologizes and says he needs fresh air. Before leaving, Anna asks him to wear the boots she gave him, warning him about sharp stones. Terrified, Brand puts on the boots and quickly leaves, but upon looking back, sees that he is still being watched. In despair, he runs into the darkness. Anna returns furious, questioning what her daughter has done and if she is hiding something. Annie reveals that she did not suck Brand's life and recalls his words. Anna states that her daughter believes he is the chosen one, but insists that she is wrong, as Brand is just a weak man. She asks again if the young girl is hiding something, and Annie responds that maybe Brand will never return. Anna cries at the thought of losing her daughter, and Annie comforts her, saying that he will return because he is in love with her. A few hours later, Brand returns, entering cautiously and asking where Anna is. She says she asked her mother to look for him. Annie expresses concern, but Brand does not look at her, and states that he came only to say goodbye because he needs to go back to his men. In a grotesque act, Anna devours the remains of Brand's dead horse. With a broken heart, Annie accepts his departure and asks him to leave before her mother returns. He asks where she is going, and Annie says she doesn't know. Brand says they will see each other when the war is over, but Annie replies that it won't be possible. Before leaving, Brand promises that he will see her face wherever he is, and Annie does the same. He leaves but quickly returns, saying he forgot the shoes. Noticing that she is trembling from the cold, he tries to help, but Annie asks him to hurry. He holds her and says he cannot live without her, for any place would be strange away from her. Annie agrees, stating that with him, any place is also a paradise. Brand looks at her passionately and madly starts kissing her, while Anna reappears and begins to watch them, and again interrupts when the two are about to become more intimate. Anna calls him aside to show him something she found. She shows him a necklace she found hanging from a tree. He quickly recognizes the necklace, and Anna, with an ironic tone, asks why it was hanging from a tree. The woman suggests that he give it as a gift to his daughter, who has never received one before. He hesitates, as the object belongs to his general's wife. Still, she convinces him and asks him to put a bit of his hair in the locket, for the girl would love it. With scissors in hand, she scares him, but says that this will make her happy. In a swift motion, she punctures his head, which feels intense pain. She apologizes, and changing the subject, tells her daughter that the man has a gift for her. Anna spits the blood she had collected earlier into a vase, while Brand presents the gift to Annie. Annie requests that he put the necklace on her, and he complies. Anna approaches and asks why he doesn't kiss her, however, only on the cheek. Upon kissing her on the cheek, we notice that his bleeding is worsening, and Annie also seems to comprehend the gravity of the situation. Anna prepares something with Brand's blood, and for a moment, her true face is reflected in the vase. The general wakes up and hallucinates about the battle on the hills, where many of his men burned to death. Anna, showing no concern for this, warns that she needs to undress, as she has no money for a bath. The door opens by itself, and Anna feels chills, asking Brand to close it. He looks outside and sees several terrifying creatures on 4 legs, but they quickly rise and stand upright. Anna, in silence, comments that a new storm is coming. Brand closes the door and reflects on his men, recalling that he needs to return to them. Upon hearing this, Annie warns her mother that the man needs to go. Anna asks if it's true, and he replies that it is, but only for a while. Furious, Anna states that they cannot stay there for long. Brand asks where they will go, but Anna does not reveal, asserting they are always on the move, especially at night. He proposes that she wait for him there, as he would see them almost daily. Annie gets excited, but informs him that her mother is the one who decides. Brand tries to talk to Anna, but she doesn't respond. When he approaches, he is startled to see a wound on her head. Brand demands to speak to Anna, who agrees. He asks her to wait just a little longer, but Anna refuses, saying they need to keep moving to survive. Brand asserts that he can take care of both if they stay, but Anna laughs and asks how he will do that. He replies that he will do whatever it takes, even steal if necessary. Anna questions if he has an interest in her daughter, and if so, they need to talk privately so Annie doesn't hear. She suggests that he take Annie to the cart so they can talk alone. Brand does so, and as he steps outside, the general wakes up startled and points outside, trying to warn him of danger. He leaves Annie in the cart and returns to Anna. She comments that her daughter is good but weak, and something needs to be done not to lose her. Brand, worried, draws closer. Anna says she needs to be honest with him, as now he will be part of the family. Sitting in front of him, she asks him to clearly see her face and the bitterness of her life. Laying her face on the table, she cries and states that she does not want to remember this. Then she recounts that the first time she saw Annie's father, he was holding a dry branch and was searching for water. She also mentions that he had strong arms and black eyes like darkness, and one day she asked if she could join him, and he quickly agreed. The two began to travel together, but he was restless. One day when she awoke, she realized he had left. With seriousness, she says she searched for him every day but never found him. Since that day, her life became empty because he abandoned her forever. One day, upon discovering she was pregnant, she felt that this child would be with her forever. Although she felt serene with the news, her expression abruptly changes. She mentions that the longing returned and that now she had something to negotiate with him. She recounts that she made an oath to give the child up for adoption if it meant he would return. She spent months repeating the same word in the hope he would come back, and slowly she felt the child growing inside her. One particular night, she felt the child tremble from the cold. She panicked, believing she had made a mistake, but suddenly she heard his voice calling her and quickly dressed in her best clothes to find him. She states that he was thirsty and starving, and said that he walked for several days without sleeping, looking for her. Her child had grown, but with no movement or breath, she had been cursed. From that day, she could never sleep again, and this never had an end. She says that her beloved slept for a while, but upon waking confessed that he loved another woman who did not love him back. She comments that that's why he sought her, as only she could help him with her herbs and secret spells. He begged for her help, and upon hearing this, her heart broke. One day while he was sleeping, she did what she needed. She removed his sock and quickly began to hang him. She observes that he fought to survive, but he was too weak to fight. When he took his last breath, she felt all his strength entering her body, bringing her child back to life. Upon hearing this, Brand stands up startled, but Anna asks him to listen to the whole story. From that day, she knew what she needed to do to keep her daughter alive. She needed one last breath from someone. She approaches him and asks if he can smell the stench of death. She comments that she cannot change anything, as this is how she was born, and nothing can clean her. With a more threatening tone, she transforms into a large black vulture, making Brand fall backward in fear. She approaches him and asks if she is scaring him, remarking that this is not her intention. Brand calls her a despicable creature and says he never wants to hear this story again, trying to flee. She pleads with him not to abandon her and asserts that she only wanted to tell the truth to her daughter's lover. Before he leaves, she asks if he doesn't hear, but quickly comments that only a mother can hear it. She asks him to fetch Annie because she is not well, and he agrees to do so. He brings Annie, completely weak, inside the house, and Anna asks him to place her near the fire. The two quickly begin to warm her up to try to save her. Anna says she will heat the honey and asks him to move her legs for the blood to circulate. While doing this, he begins to feel a strange desire to possess Annie. She awakens at that moment and says she was waiting for him, feeling safe next to him. Brand approaches to kiss her, but when he is near, he gives up and apologizes. Anna asks him to place Annie in the chair, and when he does, Annie asks what he talked about with her mother. He doesn't respond, and Anna says he needs to leave. Upon hearing this, Annie becomes worried as she doesn't want to lose him and asks if he will return. Her mother confirms that he will return, as they will wait for him, and upon returning, he will ask for her hand in marriage, which leaves Annie extremely happy. Brand remains silent, and before he leaves, Annie says that when he returns, he must never abandon her. As he tries to leave, Brand has a vision of Annie's true face and begins to hear a loud noise. He wonders why this night never ends, realizing that it is stretching on and on. Brand begins to become increasingly insane, questioning everything, and states that he should never have come back here. He comments that he should not have stopped that day, as his horse was startled to see Anna's face and that he should have followed his instincts. Annie doesn't seem to understand the situation, but he does not explain it to her and continues questioning Anna. She responds that he helped them get the cart out of a hole and that they were very grateful. Brand says he needs to flee from there, but Anna appears and makes a strange noise with her mouth. Intrigued, Brand asks what it is, but she doesn't respond and tries to manipulate him once again. This time, Brand doesn't give in and tells her to go to hell. Annie begins to cry, thinking he is angry with her, but he denies it and approaches to hug her, asking her to stop crying as he will return soon. Annie is cheered by his words. Anna comments that they need to celebrate and suggests that he hold Annie in his lap. She quickly brings wine for them to toast, and Brand soon drinks his. But when it's Annie's turn, she lets out a terrifying scream, and Anna steps back, already knowing what is happening. Brand says he cannot see her like that and will flee, but Anna comments that this is what they are for, never helping when needed. Brand steps outside but doesn't leave and asks her to make Annie stop screaming. Anna approaches and says there is only one thing they need to do, and she already told him. It doesn't have to be his life, but rather the general's who is about to die. Brand refuses to do this. Anna begins to undress, saying that nothing else matters and asking Brand to give her daughter a dignified burial, as she won't have the strength to do so. Unable to bear Annie's screams any longer, Brand agrees to do what is necessary, but he doesn't want to see it and doesn't know how to proceed. As he tries to leave, Anna states that she will need his help. She asserts that she will do the hard part and just needs him to lift her. Brand rushes to take her to the general, and Annie begs him to run far away. Anna stops him, stating that she needs his help to hold the general's feet and that he should not rebel. With no options, Brand agrees, but when Anna begins to hang him, he quickly releases the man's feet. Tired, Anna says she can't continue anymore and decides to sleep. Annie, screaming in pain, makes Brand run to wake Anna, begging her to do something, for she can't take the buzzing anymore. He states that if necessary, he will take his own life. Anna clarifies that the death needs to be slow so that the last breath is felt. Brand offers himself, and Anna begins to tie him to a chair, while Annie pleads for her mother not to do this. At the last moment, Brand tries to give up, but Anna asserts that it is too late. He tries to convince her to take the general, but she reveals that she never wanted him, as she needs a good breath. Brand realizes that he has always been the one they needed, and asks Annie if she knew this. She responds that she had asked him to leave, but he did not go away. Annie crawls towards him to begin the process, and Anna hangs him. When Brand takes his last breath, Annie manages to grab him and feels rejuvenated. She sits next to her beloved, but Anna says they need to leave soon. Anna comforts her daughter, saying that she thought he was the man of the prophecy, but she was mistaken, urging Annie to live her life. Annie runs joyfully around the house, now free to live in peace. Meanwhile, Anna gathers her things to leave, and after finishing, she departs. The general, for his part, remains alive, but struggles against his hallucinations, potentially dying soon.